to Ever Living Podcast, the podcast where we share the voices and stories of those who work and pray to protect life here in New England and beyond. We are your life-loving hosts, Xindi
and Jessica.
And welcome back to Ever Living, everyone. Good to see you again. Well, Jessica, what are you doing next week? Or I guess when this comes out this week.
I will be going to an awesome banquet hosted by New Hampshire-Right-to-Life.
Ooh, I'm also going to an awesome banquet hosted by New Hampshire-Right-to-Life. Let's see the website. Hope you all got your tickets by now. It's a little, you could try to call last minute, see if you can get in, but here it is. And it will be featuring our keynote speaker, Darlene Pollock. She was our guest last week, right? And she has an amazing life story about surviving from sex trafficking, and it's, an amazing pro-life story. So it'll be a great time. Is this your first NHRTL banquet, Jessica?
It is, yeah. No, I'm excited. I wanted to go last year, and I bought a ticket to go last year, and then I got really ill.
Oh.
Like the night before. So I couldn't go. So I'm excited that, I can actually go this time. So
yeah,
as long as I don't get ill, which I don't think I will. I'm feeling okay now. So
cool. Awesome. Yeah. Well, do you think we'll see a lot of young leaders, young college people there?
I know we already have a lot of students signed up to go, at both high school and college students. So that's really exciting, and I think it'll be great and powerful for them to hear Darlene's story.
Yeah. Well, we have a special guest today who also works with young leaders, training them up, and it's Joanna Courter, the field representative of the Northeast for the Leadership Institute. Let's welcome Joanna. Welcome, Joanna.
Hi, Joanna.
Hi, guys.
How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Great.
Doing well.
Yeah. So tell us, Joanna, what is the Leadership Institute? What is it about?
Yeah. So the Leadership Institute is a nonprofit where we work alongside specifically college students, and we also partner alongside Students for Life and other groups like Turning Point USA. So we don't have groups specifically that the Leadership Institute puts on campuses or works directly with. We kind of use other organizations to work alongside. And we have a bunch of conferences for free for students to go to. We have a lot of different free speakers that the students can ask for and request. And we do a lot of activism kits that specifically either go on table displays or work alongside tabling.
That's awesome. I know I love working with you, Joanna, with Students for Life, and your support is always so helpful to our students for sure. But yeah, so that's wonderful. Well, so I want to hear tell us a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about your background. Really how you first got involved with the Leadership Institute, and that story. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Sure. Yeah, so I was a student at the University of New Hampshire. I was vice president for Students for Life for my junior and senior year, and the field rep from the Leadership Institute came to me and asked if I wanted to be part of their campus ambassador program, which essentially allows student leaders in the college program to have more access to their events, and basically helped bridge the Students for Life group and the Leadership Institute to work together. So I was kind of the middleman, where if the group wanted a speaker, they would tell me, and then I would tell the Leadership Institute. So there's a lot of back and forth for the students to do with that, and the students specifically worked with the well, I guess I worked specifically with the field rep at the time to help me get to a conference that was very beneficial for me as a student. And yeah, basically just working alongside the program to maximize the resources that they have. So that's kind of the start of my Leadership Institute life. And then when the field rep told me that she was leaving, she told me I would be a great fit for the program. I applied, they hired me, and now I'm traveling to mostly Maine and a lot of New Hampshire schools. Haven't gone to Vermont yet, but have to. And just working alongside these student groups who may not have a group yet on campus and they want a group on campus. So they'll kind of work with me to then get either the Turning Point or Students for Life state reps to partner with them.
That's
awesome.
neat. Yeah. So how did Leadership Institute start? Was it someone's idea, or is it nationwide?
Yeah, so that's a little bit of a hard answer for me, just because I don't know the full history background, but our founder, Morton Blackwell, founded the Leadership Institute, and then the field program came later down the road, but it's a national organization. So we do have a headquarters in Virginia, and then we have field reps all around the nation.
And it's at colleges. It's mostly at colleges.
Yeah, so we don't, unlike Students for Life and Turning Point, we don't work with high school students. I believe high school students can go to our conferences, but they're not our direct group that we are working with. We're trying to work with the college age students who then can go out and, get a job and start kind of leading down that road.
Okay. And do you find it attracts kids, students of not just Christian faith, but of any background or any?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I would say that we have a lot of conservative students, so that's who we mostly work with. But if a different type of student came to us and was like, "Hey, we want your resources," we would work with them because we're a 401c3 nonprofit. We're now I'm forgetting the word. We're non-partisan, so we work with anybody and everybody who wants to come to us. But we do mostly work with young conservatives.
Oh, interesting. Cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I think it's, so cool how you were able to be a part of the Campus Ambassador program, and the work you were doing in college with being a part of the Students for Life group. You could be a part of the Campus Ambassador program and be rewarded for the things you were doing. So could you, I know you and I have chatted about this before, but could you tell me a little bit more about how exactly the Campus Ambassador program works and how students can be rewarded for doing different activities on campus, such as pro-life work?
Yeah, for sure. So we have the students kind of document different events that they do. So if I go up to Maine, let's say with Jessica, and we're doing a tabling for Students for Life, and a student documents this event, then they can essentially turn that documentation into an incentive rewards program. It's what we have. And so eventually that reward could turn into either different physical items we have or monies that we could then offer to the students. And I think the program's changed a little bit since when I was in the program. So I don't have all the details because we're still trying to figure everything out, but I think that's still kind of the overall gist of it.
Oh, wow. So it's something kind of exciting to work toward, and cool. Win prizes.
Yeah, it's basically an incentive, rewards, win prizes for free sort of thing.
Win prizes for doing the right thing and speaking up on campus. So yeah, I think that's so cool. I wish I knew about the Leadership Institute campus ambassador program when I was a student, honestly.
Mm.
I think I probably would have wanted to be a part of that. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
So how long have you been the field rep, Joanna?
Since June. So this is my first semester. So I'm really still kind of learning the ropes on a lot of things. So like I said, the program has changed since when I was a student. And I'm still trying to learn all the ins and outs of what's new, what's different, how best I can support the students who are asking the good questions. And then I tend to ask my boss and I'm like, hey, I don't know the answer. Do you know the answer? And he typically knows the answer. So it works out pretty well.
Yeah. Have you had any interesting stories that you could kind of like give us a little taste of? Anything you've experienced so far?
Yeah. So I would say the most, I guess, interesting story was when Jess and I were up in Orono, Maine this past week, and we were doing the tour for Students for Life. So we just had the banners up. We had all of the information on the table, and we had protesters. And this was my first time being a part of a group that was dealing with protesters. And it was definitely intimidating a little bit just because there wasn't too many of them, but they certainly were just loud and being a little over the top. And so just kind of working through like, okay, we're here for a purpose. We're going to keep talking to the students who are actually interested, and we're going to have to ignore them. And it was definitely interesting to see the dynamics of these students who all go to school together, and yet they just were completely acting so polarized against each other. So it was definitely interesting to see that.
There's definitely a lot of stimulation going on around us.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, there was like one group of students that were like standing across from us from the entire. So basically, the campus tour is like Students for Life. Every semester, we do a display that's like themed based on what's kind of going on in the pro-life movement at the time. And the topic this semester is all human life is valuable. So we were doing a display, and then this group of protesters, they basically stood across from us for like 2 hours with a sign that said "Go away." It was just a bunch of like not paper towels. Someone thought it was paper towels. It was actually like pieces of paper like stapled together. And then they just were like, they had a megaphone. So they were just like chanting into the megaphone for like 2 hours. So it was very, but it was very stimulating, but I agree. I feel like it was like, it was also just like nice because a lot of students did come up to the table and did sign up for the club. And
yeah,
they
probably attracted a lot more people, like just with the commotion. Maybe we were like, oh, what's going on over there? Like something interesting.
I would say that was probably the most signups I've gotten in a day from a tabling event like that. And I think the protesters did end up helping. So in a way, I'm grateful for them, but also it's a shame that they have to be the way that they have to be about it.
Well, maybe they heard what you said, and maybe they'll walk across the road one day or something.
Yeah.
So, I have a with Charlie Kirk, and have you seen any like increase in participation or interest or some from the college, population?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. So I was on campus at Keene State University when the shooting occurred, and I went home and we got on an emergency phone call with our team, and they were like, turning point, state reps are going to be grounded for a little bit. So if you guys want to continue going on to campuses, you're more than welcome to. Just know that you don't have to. So that night I called my boss and I was like, hey, I have this group at Orono, Maine tomorrow who wants to do a 9/11 event. Can I still go? And he was like, absolutely. So I spent that next day in Orono, Maine. And it was interesting because before the shooting occurred, I would say a lot of these students wouldn't have really known what Turning Point was or who Charlie was. And you would have to kind of explain like, oh, he's the guy who is on YouTube, who debates these students. And after the event, all I had to say was, have you heard about Charlie? And they're like, yes. And I was like, are you interested in having free speech on campus? And they said yes. And so I got a lot of people up front who were definitely more invested because of the event, which is a very, very, very unfortunate event, but it did cause a lot of students to step up, which is fantastic. So I really am seeing the students want to be invested more, and we have a lot of groups forming in New Hampshire and in Maine, and it's absolutely wonderful to see. So I'm working alongside the Turning Point rep. She's amazing, and I do what I can to help them out because I know that they're really working hard to get these groups going.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely seeing that, hearing about that. So kind of what, Charlie's dream was to happen is happening. So yeah, that kind of sacrificial life. Yeah. So Joanna, if students want to get involved with the Leadership Institute, how can they reach out and, get plugged in, and what can they do?
Yeah, so we have a lot of resources, like I said before, with a free speaker list. So we have these speakers who partner with the Leadership Institute, and they're completely free to students. And they're absolutely amazing speakers. I know that when I was vice president, we had one of these speakers come to UNH and speak to our UNH Students for Life group. And the way that she was engaging, she brought us dinner, which was really, really kind of her. And she was just very entertaining, very fun, very serious about the topic, but very engaging, which is what we needed at the time. And so I'd say that that the Leadership Institute definitely knows their audience well, and they choose speakers who can fit what the students' needs are. And same thing goes for the activism kits. We have kits that are not typically seen with what Turning Point or Students for Life groups have. We kind of have more interactive kits, which is great for a group who may just not have anything from their prospective organization yet and are just like, hey, we want a table, we need something, and we can pull something together for them. And tomorrow is October 10th. And so we have a women's Keep Men Out of Women's Sports event going on tomorrow, that we have these sport nets that go up, and then we have a speedometer and some balls that people are supposed to throw into the net, and it's supposed to calculate the speed of them. And so, you have a competition between a man and a female, and that's kind of should represent, hey, like a man is going to have most likely a stronger arm than a female, and it's just an unfair advantage. So that's just one of the many examples that we have for these activism kits that are absolutely wonderful. And we have great trainings for students, conferences for students. One that we have every year for, I believe we have up to 8 or 9 a year. They're called the Youth Leadership School, or YLS is what we refer to them as. And these conferences are completely free to students. We fly them out. We'll put them up in a hotel. Most meals are covered for. And it's essentially a whole weekend dedicated to learning how to table better, how to communicate more with your peers. And just overall, this is how, you're supposed to win arguments. This is how you're going to do great in the academic field when you have opponents coming at you. And it's a lot, and it's a great weekend. I've met many great people there, and it's just I can't talk about it enough, because it's just amazing. So yeah, those are a couple of the things that we have. And then we're also just an extra support for other field reps like Jess, who, if she's just, she's swarmed, she can't get into part of my territory, I'll go in her place and I'll support the group. And then if I end up getting names and contact information, I'll send them to her so that she can have a follow-up conversation with them.
Cool. Wow, so many great opportunities. I wish I were in college. So,
Yeah.
I have a question. Like,
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
It's okay. You go, Cindy.
Well, my question is, Joanna, I guess, is this generation like Gen Z? Is that the college age right now? Is that, or
Yeah.
whatever generation it is?
My brother is still Gen Z, and he's not even in college yet. He's a junior in high school. So I think, they're Gen Z.
Okay. Well, like, what do you, not to generalize, but what do you see that Gen Z is facing, or what is it like to grow up now, Gen Z? And like, I was in college in like the 2010s, so I graduated 2010. So, but what do you see in the college kids today? Like,
I would
just an easy question.
Yeah, it's definitely a hard question to answer, because there's a lot going on, and especially if you're talking about pro-life and the amount of hate that these students have towards those who are pro-life is actually just shocking. And the amount of videos that I see, Kristen Hawkins, she's great and she's amazing, and she's on these college campuses and she's having these conversations, and students will just like pretend to have an abortion like right there in front of her, and it's just so disrespectful, and it's just really crazy to see just how far like polarized these two sides really are in this generation. And talking to students who are pro-life and are willing to have conversations and are willing to work with the groups on campus, and they're so much more loving and more kind and more gentle. And then you get into these conversations with these students who are more pro-choice, like they won't even give you a second to really explain what you're doing or who you're trying to help. They just kind of shut you down instantly. And it's very interesting to see this very different side of the coin. And especially when you're talking about the Charlie Kirk situation and Turning Point, and it's very similar, where these students are like praising the fact that he got shot, and then you have students who are crying, and it's just like you're just celebrating death everywhere you go in this generation, if you're on the side of pro-choice or non-pro freedom, essentially. And it is quite mind-blowing to walk on these campuses and just never really knowing like what the day is going to end up looking like.
I wonder if like internet comment culture, do you think that has shaped how, and even like with quarantining, like where we really didn't see people face to face, or we were really like well, it kind of split us, I think. Like the pandemic, it kind of divided people more into this side, that side. And then I wonder, is it internet culture? Is it?
I would agree.
I would definitely say it's part of it.
Political scene.
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of, obviously as well. Like we do very similar work, Joanna. And I mean, I know the last couple times I've tabled, I've had people come up and literally, instead of engaging with us and having a conversation with us, like film a TikTok. Like they'll stand in like 10 feet from us and have their friends, like this happened today. I was tabling at Wellesley College today, and these students like were like dancing like in front of our table and like filming a TikTok. And who knows what that TikTok turned into, but I had that happen today, and then I had that happen at UConn last week. So I would agree that I think like people can say a lot more online that they don't really mean, that they wouldn't say to your face, and they're afraid to say it to your face. They'll definitely comment it, or they'll film a TikTok about it, but they won't necessarily come up to you and tell you how they really feel.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting because I do see this generation hiding behind cameras and hiding behind their phone more than any other generation, which makes sense because we are the first generation to have a smartphone 24/7. And it's very eye-opening for me to be like, okay, when I have kids, I don't want them ever having a smartphone because it's just a scary world. And there are just so many different types of people who are not afraid to, do death threats or bomb threats over social media or texting, but then, you confront them in person and they're like, what? That was me? I had no idea. And it's like, okay.
And I think when you live in online worlds, like that's all you hear like one side, or you hear, and then that's affecting your beliefs. Because I think when I think of young people, there's like they're forming their beliefs, right? And it's like a very fertile time. But like for my generation, it was like, after 9/11, it was like Occupy Wall Street was like the most, rebellious, rebellious thing we were into. And so I don't know.
I will say, in it, yes, there's the crazy people, right? There's the people that are going to pretend that they're having an abortion on camera or dance and make TikToks. But I don't want to say, I think it's definitely a generalization to say every single person is not willing to have a conversation. Because I will say, even today on campus, I had plenty of conversations with people that were like, no, I do want to hear your perspective. And I know personally, I've felt that since Charlie Kirk passed away, that's actually been more of the case. I think people that disagree with me have been more willing to hear my side of things and have been open to civil discourse. Not to say that that's everyone. You definitely have plenty of people that come up and take pictures or film TikToks or be obnoxious and yell into a bullhorn the entire time. But I think that there is also still a demographic of people that are genuinely curious, or maybe they just disagree, but they're willing to hear your argument as well.
Yeah, I work with middle school kids every day, and they're thoughtful. They're and I think maybe we're getting to a point where the young people can also recognize when something is false, or what source it's coming from, or influencers, and kind of they can see a little bit of making good judgments, maybe, of where the information is coming from, or AI generated or something. So
that's fair. But Joanna, I guess I one last question.
And I would definitely say AI generation, the AI is.
Yeah. No, what were we gonna say? AI?
No, I was just saying AI is definitely a huge factor now too.
Yeah,
definitely, absolutely.
What do you guys what are you referring to? I'm curious.
I think people don't know where to get their news.
Just
get what's true, right?
Okay. Oh,
no, for sure.
Yeah. Made up facts or something, or.
Yeah, people can kind of fabricate any story now because they can just put it into ChatGPT and ChatGPT will come up with it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Anyway, Joanna, well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I do have one last question for you. Just what would you say, now that we're talking about Gen Z and young people and how it's hard to do pro-life activism on campus, but what would you say to the student that's watching this that, wants to stand up for life, but is struggling to, or is, maybe in the pro-life club, but is afraid to get out there and go table and talk about this issue?
Yeah, I mean, bottom line is if it's an issue that you find yourself loving and wanting to fight for, and it's just something that you can't sleep at night over with. Like, you can't sleep at night because of the issue. I would say you just have to do it. You just have to go, and you have to step up, and you have to stand firm. And it doesn't, like, yes, it's scary, but over time it's going to become less scary because you're going to find your rhythm. You're going to find the people who are also fighting for the same thing that you're fighting for. And it just gets easier every time you table, and every time you have a conversation with somebody who disagrees with you. You're not always going to win the conversation or the disagreement, and that's okay. You're going to learn from the other person's side. They're going to learn from you, and you're just going to continue to become stronger in the belief you have, and you're going to become stronger in the facts. And eventually, it's just going to hopefully, the person that you're talking with will get their minds changed because you just have all of this knowledge and are able to convey it in a way that makes the most sense to that person.
Beautifully put. Inspiring. Joanna, what Bible verse did you bring to share with our listeners today?
Yeah, so it's a pretty simple one, but it definitely was something that I was thinking about while coming into the podcast, which thank you guys so much for having me. I would say it would be Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. And that's just referencing God. And yeah, just the times where you don't feel like you're able to keep going and persevering on the hard days and the good days. It's just a reminder for me that God is always with me. He's always walking through each battle with me. He's put me in this position to help change people's minds and encourage those who are at the battlefield every day on these campuses. So that's definitely the verse that I thought would be the most valuable.
It's beautiful. Absolutely. That's
awesome.
I think I needed to hear that today too. So, but well, thank you, Joanna.
Yes.
And, I just want to say thank you for coming on the podcast, and thank you for all the work you're doing at the Leadership Institute and your support of the work I do at Students for Life. And it's been really cool to Joanna was actually one of the students I worked with in my role as a regional coordinator when she was a student at UNH, and now she gets to be my colleague. So it's really, really awesome that we get to work together.
She spread her wings and flew. So,
exactly.
Well, have a wonderful fall semester, winter, spring, and yeah, this first full year. I hope it goes really well.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay. Well, that's our episode today, everyone. Maybe we'll see you next week, depending on the banquet.
I have a ticket for the banquet.
Well, I think there. You could check, if there's still any available, but we were getting pretty good attendance. So
that's awesome. Well, if you gotta go check now, after you watch this episode, go buy your ticket.
Try. Okay. Thanks, Joanna. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Ever Living Podcast, a podcast by New Hampshire Right-to-Life, New Hampshire's oldest and most active pro-life organization. You can learn more about our work and learn how to get involved at www.nhrtl.org. If you would like to donate to our mission, you can make a donation at www.nhrtl.org/donate. See you next week. May God bless you and be very near to you, and may you be ever living.